Hey guys, Chris here with RonBootsFarm, and today we're framing rooms in the barn. Alright guys, so we're in the barn. This video is going to be about these two rooms we're framing up. So if you've seen the other videos, if I've got them out yet, this barn here was open. We enclosed it in from that, and you can kind of see the difference in the metal. So it was enclosed in 20 feet, all down this side, two sliding barn doors, down all the way down, and then 20 feet down this side, and there was a tack room in that corner. And then right here, you can see this other wall we framed up, and it steps up the concrete there. You can see at the bottom, that was a wash station. There was a drain over on the other side of that weed. There was a drain there, and there was big sections of pipe that went to the corner and down there, I guess where you could tie animals up. I believe the people that built it raised show steers, so I don't know if that's where they washed them or groomed them or whatever before they went to the shows. So we're going to turn this into a couple of rooms, the tack room. And if you've seen another video, I kind of changed my plan, and I'll try to link it here, but I got a video I put out like a year ago where we decided to clean this area up because the barn was full of stuff, and it was before we closed it in, so you couldn't really put things over against the wall. And I forgot, speaking of that, to go on around, so that we closed the rest of that in, all the way down, two more sliding doors on that end, and then all the way around. So back over here, there's a video where we put this wall up, and we put a wall there, put plywood up, and I know there's a lot of stuff in the way, but we had done that and then moved these shelves. These are some of the shelves that were over there, and there was a workbench to try to organize this a little bit. And I was just going to use that as an area for tools, but I decided to go with my original plan that I had when I first moved in, and we're going to make that actually a huge closet. And I think eventually down this side, I'll either have this concreted in, just like we did the side over here on the other side. And all that was dirt. We put concrete over there, and I'm going to put a video on that as well if I hadn't already. We'll concrete this side and do, or wooden floor, one of the two, and make like a guest room here and be a place where I can put grandparents' antique furniture, that kind of thing, and a place where folks can stay when my dad or somebody else comes to visit. So, and then this here will be a big storage closet to put Christmas decorations, just other things like that we want to get out of the house, maybe suitcases, that kind of thing, but we don't necessarily just want them in a barn or whatever. So this will all be air-conditioned space on this side. Right now, we're going to frame it up and just throw a window unit that I have in the wall somewhere, probably in one of these doorways. We'll just, when we plywood it up, I plywood all the way across and put the window unit in there, but eventually this whole thing will be air-conditioned and climate controlled. So we framed this up a few months ago. Of course, these walls were already there. You can see the metal studs. We left them. And on the other side, we'll go in there, but we just framed another wall up on the other side. We just figured that would be easier than trying to tear all that down since this wall was here. Now, we did have to do work to get everything level, plumb, and all of that. You'll notice up here, there's 3 top plates when normally you'd only have 2. The reason we had to do that was to make that wall level all the way into there. If you see down here, that steps up, there's like a 1.5 inches or so step up there. And you can see it, the bottom plates there where they off match. So to make that wall straight all the way across for when we build the other walls, we had to put a 3rd plate on there out here as well. I don't know if you can see the lights there. You can see all those blocks where we had to scab on to the studs, because to make everything level, we had to knock the top plate up to get it level all the way across and even. And again, we're framing in a barn here, so nothing's built as level as it should be. So to get everything level and straight, we had to block those up. You can see some more that we had to do right there as well. So we did all of that, got it all framed up, ran some water lines. There's water that came in right here. Hey bud, what you doing?
Taking too long.
I know, I'm always taking too long. I'll be just a second, okay?
Okay, I'm going house.
Okay, see you in a minute. So we went ahead and ran it out. It's on the outside over there, so we could have water on this side. Got it insulated and in. You can see the foam board insulation. So my plan is, and I am not an insulation expert, so if you're seeing this and think I've done it wrong, well, there may be a good chance of that, but this is the way I decided to do it. So there's 2 layers of 3/4 inch foam insulation. There's one glued to the metal Then it's all caulked, all the seams where it meets up at the top, around the sides, there's caulked to seal it off, and then the sealing tape is over the where it meets together, the seams. Then there's a second layer glued to that, and again, and of course I hadn't finished it all, you can see a seam there that's missing, but the tape over that. And then I got some do-it-yourself spray foam kits from Foam It Green, they're right there. And I'm gonna spray like an inch layer of foam over the top of that. Then there'll be an airspace between that and the studs, and then the studs will have regular fiberglass batt insulation, just like you would in a house or some other structure. I'm gonna do the same up there. We just hadn't put the insulation in, but there will be foam board insulation all the way up. There will also be a piece of foam board insulation coming over and up the inside of that wall to seal off any air that could come down from over the ceiling and down into the wall cavity. The wall cavity will be completely sealed off there. Eventually, I'm gonna figure out something to do with the ceiling. The whole barn will eventually be insulated to help regulate the temperature in here. But this room, again, the outside of the barn will be insulated, and then the wall itself will be insulated up. The ceiling joist will be put on, already have the material over there, and the ceiling will be insulated with fiberglass insulation as well. So that is the plan. There's a door framed in here that will be a door that eventually will go to that room that we build, and a door here where you can come in from the shop if you're on that side. In here, this was the old tack room. It already had a bunch of plugs everywhere. And so I thought this would make a good grow room for seedlings and plant starting. So that's what I plan to do with that. Move my racks out here and have my trays stored and all of that, and be a good place to set up seeds. And like I was talking about a minute ago, we just framed up a wall on this side instead of trying to tear out that wall that was already there. We just framed another wall up, and it gave us plenty of room to move around the electrical here. It's got room to pull out, and we'll just mount it out here, not have to redo all of that. Already got the foam board insulation in here. We'll do the same. We'll put 2 layers up around the top, and then a piece, if you can see, coming over to the studs, and then up on this side, spray foam down in it, which will completely seal off this air cavity from any air that could come in and down from the ceiling. So that is our plan. This is how we've gotten so far. Dad will be here soon, and we will start getting the rest of this insulated, do the spray foam now that it's warm enough to do that. When we did all this back a few months ago, it was too cold for the spray foam, so this is kind of where we got stopped at, was this part. So we will get all that done, get our joist on, and going to put plywood on top of the joist because there's just enough room. It's not a whole lot of room out there, but there's enough room that from the outside, things we don't use very much can be stored up on top to get out of the way. So we're going to put at least 1 row of plywood across the edge, maybe more, because you could get up there and some things slide back if there are some things that and things I'm thinking about is, like, I have tile for the house I'm keeping for extras. I'll never need it unless break a tile in the house, but I kept several boxes of each type of tile we used in case down the road, we needed it. And of course, even if they still use that, sell that tile, you can always get the same run where the colors completely match. So stuff like that we put up there that just for storage. So that is the plan. We'll come back on the next one and put in some more video of the next steps. Catch y'all then. just saw. Spent the last few days doing a few other things around the farm, but also in here in the barn, putting up the rigid foam board. Again, 2 layers on the wall. Haven't done the whole thing, just a 2/3 of the back. Like I said, 2 layers. The south end, 2 layers again on the wall. And then I showed you the 2 rooms we're building. All that was pretty much done except for the top section. So that is now done all the way around to where that room stops. We also did the ceiling. There was 1 layer on the ceiling. The reason I went with 1 layer is I was just afraid over time, because that's put up there with a Loctite adhesive, Loctite brand. Went with that instead of the liquid nail, just because it works at higher temperatures. In a couple of days, it was almost 100 degrees outside, which means that 10 was even hotter, and the Loctite works up to 140, I believe. So we got didn't get all the ceiling done. Used what foam board I had. We went and got another 2 bundles, which was 60 sheets, and on top of what we already had here and what was already up on the wall. But we got more than what we have on the spray foam, which is what we're about to do next, and I will put that in the next video. But we're going to put a 1-inch layer, give or take, because it's hard to get that stuff exact, but a 1-inch layer of spray foam over the entire thing, including the beams, the corners especially, to seal off all the airflow. I'm going to do that as well up at the top. I'm going to at least put some around the edge and around the beams to help with any thermal bridging from the roof. I'm still debating on whether I'm going to put it over the entire piece of foam. I'm wondering how it's going to stick, or if any weight would be pulling that. I know that stuff doesn't weigh much. I'll probably go ahead and do it over the entire thing and just see what happens. But I may have to fill that in later. I only got 2 sets of the foam, 4 canisters. It takes 2 canisters of the different chemicals to mix up. I'm going with the Foamit green. In fact, you can see it sitting over there on the other side of that ladder. But I'll show some more of that in the next video. So this is where we're at now. I'm gonna cut this one off for this video, and then we'll do the spray foam and another one, and then we will do the closing in the rooms. We're just gonna use plywood on the walls. I decided, since these are storerooms, so we'll once we get all the foam in, get our ceiling joist up, and get those walls insulated with the bat insulation, then we can close it in. We'll catch y'all on the next one.